All right, everybody, welcome back. I want to make this quick video as a demonstration to give reference to the cliche, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So I've tried to explain this to people in the past, and most of them it gets, some of them it just still eludes them. So here it is. Here's a guided reference. So this is just any controller you have, whether it is a proprietary controller like something from Light the Night, if it is an SP105 or a 107 or anything, right? You have always some sort of power and ground coming in. You always have some sort of data, usually a positive output, and a ground coming out. This is for addressable lights, by the way, not RGB, not single color. This is for addressable. There's a difference between addressable and RGB, so make sure you understand. So there's going to be, out of this amplifier that we make, all right, this is all made in-house. We use potting epoxy, we 3D print these cases, we build the circuit boards, and we assemble everything. And then everything gets tested, kind of like what you see here. But my setup is a little bit more tricky, and not for me, but I don't want to confuse anybody, so I've kind of made this as simple as I can. So you're going to have a male connection here, which is your signal input coming from your controller. Okay? You're going to have a female connection here that you can daisy chain other amplifiers after this one. So if you want to add 2 or 3 or 4, it's going to go out of here with your extension, going into another amplifier, all right, and then coming out of the amplifier, going to the next third amplifier, fourth amplifier, so forth and so on. It's what we call daisy chaining, okay? These two wires I'm going to come to in just a minute. All right, these may or may not be needed depending on how your existing setup from another vendor is set up internally, how their controller is used. Okay, if it's proprietary, that's what this is for. If you're using something like this, standard off-the-shelf controller, which works just fine, I'll explain that. Okay, on your side here, these are your signal outputs. Okay. Red is 12 volts, white is ground, green is signal. Same thing over here, except you don't see a red over here because this unit, the whole thing, takes power from your main power source, your battery, your alternator, whatever you're using, and is going to pass through here and give power to the LEDs. We're only taking, if you notice, okay, we have 3 wires here, again, power, ground, and data, but we're only running 2 right here because all we need is signal and ground. You're getting your power for your LEDs from your main power supply through this wire here. This has an insulated spade connector that will connect to the multi-unit power harness that I build. I don't have any right offhand, but these will plug directly into that. And then obviously your ring terminal is ground. Okay. For me, this is just going to a temporary battery setup so that I don't have to drag everything else out to show you guys. So I'm trying to make it simple for you. All right. As you can see, everything is hooked up. I do not have any lights on right now. The controller is on. All right. I can't switch screens to show you, but trust me, it's on. So the first amplifier, depending on how your controller handles its internal grounds, you may or you may not need these wires. So if you plug everything up and you're not getting any lights, see if I can do this one-handed. All right, you will have to connect these 2 wires. This is an internal looped ground that is now looped. It is now not looped. And then Now it is looped. Okay? So depending on your configuration, you may or you may not need to connect these two wires. But that is what they are here for. You only need to do this, with our setup anyway, you only need to do this on the first amplifier coming out of the controller. Your second, third, fourth, fifth amplifier, you do not need to connect these ground wires together because the first one already provides the looped ground. So I hope that makes sense. I hope I've explained everything, which wires are which, incoming, outgoing, power, ground, LED outputs, and everything in between. These boxes are configured to handle about 10 amps of power. Okay. Depending on the kit that you get, different kits will have different amount of outputs. Okay. So I try to set these up so that people just don't plug stuff up. I got one guy, he just goes splitter crazy, and then he wonders why his stuff doesn't work. Because you overload the amplifier. It's no different than a car audio amplifier. Put too much to it, you'll either burn it up or it's going to do erratic things. It's going to give you erratic behavior. Okay? 10 amp capacity. That's why we have these wired in the way that we do with the kits that we send out. If you order an amplifier by itself, then by default, it will come with 8 outputs. Okay? I'm not going to get into how you wire all that stuff up as far as multiple strips. That's a whole nother video. This video is to show how this amplifier works with any controller, whether it's Like the Night, whether it's Oracle, whether it's, anybody else. These are inline crossover cable adapters that we use to set up third-party equipment like ours with other vendors that wire their things backwards to prevent you from trying to run your own setup. Okay? So, specifically, we typically use these. I actually built these for this kit that's getting ready to go out because I got a guy who has a Like the Night setup. Great company. They make a really good product, but they'll tell you themselves it's not for everybody because it's priced accordingly, right? So what he wanted to do was take some of his own stuff and add it to that, and he wanted an amplifier to be able to add his own lights. So we're going to provide him some equipment to be able to do that. So all we're doing is furthering the capacity of what he's got and giving him the options to do so. So anyway, that's how it's all wired up. That's how it works. I hope that makes sense. If not, leave some comments and I'll try to address them for you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the next video.